welcome back to the channel. It's Natalie. I have a card for you from Copictopia. The two little turtles is from the stamp set At Ease. The other image is actually, I did this card before I did the card on last Friday for Nomi's at the Sea, which is what it's called. And you can leave, at the end of this video, I'll put a little iCard up the top and you can have it and check that out as well, because there's a bit of a technique in here that we're going to play with as well. And I do a similar thing, but with watercolor in the other one. So it's a little bit, it's similar. So I've used from the rim of my shell, I've used the E44 and E84. With my shell, I have used YG97, 95, and I've also used YG25, which has got a nice little khaki, sort of quite dark color. His little face is going to be a little bit bright with the BG94, 96, the YG17, and the bright YG23, which is going to just make him really nice and bright little green turtle because he's cute. I'm trying to leave a little bit of reflective shadow around his face to break it up from the rest of like his shell, his little flippers, where the shell meets the sorry, I just had to have a drink. Where the shell meets the little flipper, that's going to be a little bit darker because the shell is sitting on top of him. The underneath is the YG95 and 25, and that's just, it's the same color as his shell, it's just not going that dark. See, now he's a little bit dry, and well, he is dry and he's a lot brighter. So I'm using the YG97 because he's got little dots, and I have added a little bit more stippling around him just to give him a little bit of fun, a little bit of interest. I am making myself a watery sort of background, shall we say, behind my sentiment. At this point, I'm just, I will say this is the first time I've done it, okay? So give it a try, because honestly it's very freeing. Because I just shoved color down basically. With the BOOO, I've just done little, or quite large really, teardrop shapes, but they're a little bit flattened. Using the BO2, I've just, on that flattened end of the teardrop, I've just gone around the edges and darkened that a little bit, and then used a bit of tip to tip technique just to soften that just a tiny little bit, because it's a bit of a jump. Using the BV20 just to give a little bit of highlight underneath it, and I'm basically just sort of doing lines, because when you look at the water, it's just very, it can be sort of a little bit choppy, it can be a little bit lines. It's giving the illusion of movement in the water. I'm using the B95 very sparingly, and then blending that out again with the 91. And I'm basically going to keep going backwards and just not even fully filling up that area. It's fine to keep a little bit of white area, because that's what's going to give it a little bit of extra interest. And we're also going to use another little trick here very shortly to provide a little bit more. And going over that with the BOOO just to, so it gives it a feeling that it's just not a block of color, because it is, but it will go out and soften that. This is a white gel pen. I used this in the video on Friday as well with watercolor and making water. This one, I'm just doing these lines that go like horizontal, because the waves, it's the ways that it's how it's going to sit, how the water's going to sit. Most of the time I'm leaving it there for a couple of seconds and then tapping it off with my finger just to lighten it that little bit more. So it's not a strong white. In some areas I've left it a strong white. It's very hard to see. So down below I will leave a link to my blog and you'll be able to have a bit of a close-up look at those, at the water, and see what I've done. Hopefully you can understand it a little bit better. I've also put a little bit of white gel pen on his flippers. I'm still just playing around with my white gel pen, and I'm not holding the pen very tightly. I'm using it very loosely, like you would. I hear people that like to watercolor just having a really light brush, not having a firm grip, so it sort of bounces over the cardstock or the canvas in their case. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not wanting a solid line. I've raised him up with a little bit of the foam dots. These are crystal mix. Now, you know, my brain sort of goes, well, he's sort of sticking out of the water, but it's giving you giving you the impression that it's still going. So he's got little drops of water going up. I thought it was cute, and it needed something else to take that design a little bit higher because it's quite small. I will leave a link over to Copictopia. This little dude is part of their pre-order. So as I said, I'll leave a link on the description box down below to that, and you can check that out. And he's just really cute. He's called At Ease. Now there's lots of other little ones like the gnomies that we saw, gnomies by the sea. There's a couple other mermaid. There's stencils, there's papers, there's some sharks. It's very cute. That's it from me. I hope you're well. Take care, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye bye.